So this girl's side hustle turned into her full-time job after she paid off her debts. Sat staring at my computer screen in panic. I calculated net worth for the first time. Yeah. So I listened to my gut about my career. After I graduated from college, I accepted full-time teaching position as a K through 8 music teacher. But as much as I like my students, between the long and underpaid hours, unpaid, underpaid hours, and having to navigate administrative bureaucracy, I quickly learned that a traditional classroom setting wasn't for me. I became more intentional about my spending once I started bringing in more variable income. It became important to understand the major areas where I was spending money. I broke my spending down into three broad categories: necessities, goals, and wants. From there, I got more specific to my situation. I started by looking through my transactions over the last few months to see what I was spending my money on. Once I understood how I was spending these in these categories, I started asking myself questions like, what do I actually want out of life right now? What is important to me? How do I want to feel about my finances? With these questions in mind, I started brainstorming how I could make the most out of my income in order to spend in a way that was aligned with my values, goals, and current situation. I realized that I valued the feelings of security, freedom, and independence way more than a lot of random stuff I bought every month. I also learned that I was spending more money on housing than I needed to in my area. When the lease of my apartment was up, I spent more time researching different housing options, moved to a less central part of town, and continued living with a roommate. It wasn't the sexiest decision, and I didn't want to live with roommates forever, but finding ways to lower my housing costs opened up $400 in my budget that I could put towards my larger financial goals. I started a budget and financial routine. That's important. That's something um, yeah, a lot of people can't. My primary goal with my budget was to bring as much consistency to my financial life as possible. Using the data I found from tracking my spending, I identified I identified what I call my baseline numbers, the money that I needed to cover my necessities, minimum debt payments, and a small amount of recreational spending. Knowing my baseline helped me understand how to make adjustments in the event of a low income month and helped me set clear income target for my freelancing jobs. Then I created a realistic budget that prioritized necessities followed by financial goals and then wants. This way I feel more secure, my goals remain top priority, and I'm able to spend on things I want without feeling any guilt because I know I'm not taking away from things that are more important to me. I started using a bucket budgeting system, using multiple bank accounts with designated purposes that I transfer money into on payday. It's, huh, okay, cool. I that's a thing that I do, but I don't know how common that is. I started using bucket, so using multiple bank accounts with designated purposes that I transfer money into on payday. It's similar to the cash envelope system, but uses bank accounts instead of cash and envelopes. For the last 4 years, almost every Sunday, I sat down and reviewed my bucket bank accounts and spending, checked in with my financial goals, made any necessary modifications to my spending plan, and set financial intentions for the upcoming week. I chose a debt repayment strategy. At the start of my financial journey, I had some pretty high interest debt where the interest charges were accumulating close to 200 in interest fees each month, or about 6% of my monthly income. Because of this, I decided to use debt avalanche method to pay off my debts. The debt avalanche method is when you prioritize paying off debts in the order of highest to lowest interest rate, which may help save more money in. So today, the only debts I have left are my student loans. I'm not focused on paying them off quickly at this time due to their low interest rates. Instead, I'm working on building wealth first by investing and increasing my income while making the minimum payments on my student loan. I started a side hustle that became my full time job. Our income is one of our most powerful wealth building tools, and I knew very early on that I needed to find ways to increase my income if I wanted to achieve my financial goals faster. Beginning in 2018, I experimented with several different side hustle ideas, from selling crochet scarves on Etsy, beauty blogging, starting a music education blog, and in June 2020, I decided to start an Instagram account called Save, Live, Thrive that chronicled my debt repayment journey. when the pandemic began, I saw a negative impact it had on so many people's financial lives. I felt more grateful for the financial education I'd been building over the last few years. Wanted to share what I learned with others and create a financial literacy platform that talked about personal finance in a positive, welcoming, inclusive, and non-judgmental way. By trying different side hustles, I was able to use the extra money toward my debt repayment goals and ultimately realize the passion I have for teaching and other women about personal finance and inspiring them to take ownership of their financial futures. So yeah, this is all really good like financial advice. Like just it's essentially developing a few good habits. Considering I never went to college, I really have no room to talk. Well, I mean, it really doesn't matter if you went to college. It matters if you're good with money. Like, uh, my buddy, like, scolded his mom once for how she buys her groceries, and then like, because she was complaining about how much money she spent, and he's like, "Mom, what do you expect?" He says, "Look, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need that, and like these things, all you can get these cheaper over here at this other store. You can get these. Look at Kai. Look at what Kai does. Kai goes to wherever things are cheapest and he buys them there." And so it's something I guess that he started doing. Once I explained to him how I buy my groceries, he was like, "Really?" Because he didn't realize that, like, yeah, you're gonna, if you want to get meat, you go over here to the Ralph's or whatever. They have a butcher. We got meat and ham and all that shit. If you want cheap vegetables, you go over here. If you want yada yada yada, you go over there. You go to a dollar store, get the basics, some milk, shit, whatever. And so he was like, "Look at that! Like that's how you buy all this shit and not spend as much." Uh, so, but not it's like there's little things, little habits that you can develop that not everyone does, but that are tremendously helpful in regulating your finances. Considering, so yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So you don't need college to be smart about your money. You don't. Look at Amaranth. Amaranth didn't go to college. She didn't go to college. She's doing her own thing. She's doing Amaranth, and she makes very intelligent financial decisions. She's investing, she's building, like, what she's doing right now, she's like, "Yeah, I know I'm hot, and if I can make money right now being hot, I'm going to use that to, like, be not just being hot and entertaining, like having a personality, because she has a fun personality." So she started off gaming, has transitioned into where she's at now, because she realizes that she saw the stacks coming in and was like, I see, that's more money to invest into my future. So she's like buying stocks and investing in stuff and whatnot. uh so she's making fucking smart financial choices, and she didn't go to college. She's just a smart cookie.